Hi, folks. So I got another Soundcraftsman piece from Steve. He finds them all. As I said before, I thought he had hunted them all to extinction. But this is kind of an oddball here. This is a Soundcraftsman Pro PT 5R Preceiver. It's basically a preamp and tuner in one package meant to be paired with a power amp. And he's got plenty of those. So I took a quick look at this thing. It powers up, but it only passes signal on the left channel. There's virtually no literature or any mention of this to be found on the net, and therefore I could find no service literature. So we're going to have a jolly hunt going in here. So let's pop the cover off and see what we can figure out. I'm injecting signal only into the right channel, the one that wasn't passing signal before, and I want to probe the balance control. So fortunately, the bottom comes off and gives us access to these boards. So if I go here to the balance, I have nothing. Go here, I have nothing. One side's going to go to ground. There we go. There's our signal. Some manufacturers feed the line level signal into the volume, then the balance. Some feed into the balance, then the volume. But this is going into the volume because I can turn the volume up and our signal goes up. So we're good here. And more importantly, we're good leaving the balance control here. And the balance control appears to be fine. Occasionally, you'll find your balance control is your entire problem. The Kenwood C2, I believe, has a balance controller that is known to go bad. So we want to try and trace this and see where it goes to, and then see if we can figure out where we're losing it. After doing some signal tracing, I looked at the other side of this board. There's a brown coax cable that goes down to the board in the back. And if you look real closely, right here, you can see that we have a break. And I believe that's our entire problem. So I am going to repair that. See if I can just give you a slightly better view. So I'm going to solder and reinforce this. In fact, I may put some hot glue on here just to make sure that this stays rigid. And then we'll see if that fixed our entire problem. I soldered a piece of clip component lead right here. And I'll show you a picture. Whenever I clip off a sizable lead from a component, I throw them in the drawer here. They're handy for making repairs like this. And if you can see the shine here, I put some hot glue on there to physically hold this cable in place. When we turn the volume up here, we now have signal on both channels. I have to laugh because I was confident this was the problem. So I connected the output of the preamp to the scope, and I didn't have the right channel. And it turned out to be because I've been using these cheap RCA to RCA cables I pick up from recycling bins or what have you. And they weren't making good connection at the scope. Matter of fact, if I turn this on here and I jiggle the connections, you can see kind of lose it sometimes. I squeeze the ends, but yeah, this can be a problem. It can throw you off and have you chasing a ghost. So this video has been pretty short. I'm going to play some music through here before I finish this, but I want to talk a little bit about the troubleshooting process. And in fact, there was a viewer, Buried Bits, I don't remember the last digits, but he suggested I make a video on the troubleshooting process. I think that's a pretty good idea because that's the main thrust of what I'm trying to get across on this channel. In a case like this, and in many cases, it was beneficial to signal trace until I could find out where I lost it. Now, I have no schematic on this, so I was kind of poking around in the dark for a bit. But I checked the balance control volume. I knew I was good up to there. And this brown cable back here, let me show you where I'm wiggling that. A little bit out of focus, but this brown cable here comes from here. And I wasn't getting my right channel here. I traced up into this vicinity with the scope because I was injecting a signal into the CD input on the right channel only. and I lost it right around here. That's when I flipped it over and I saw the break right here. It's beneficial to signal trace to get you into an area, and then if there's nothing you can physically see, to use your ohm meter or voltmeter to trace out what's going on. It's the most efficient way I've found to troubleshoot things like this. So I just want to talk briefly about that, and I am thinking about making this video that Buried Bits mentioned, and I'm going to talk about other things than just stereos, because I've learned to troubleshoot a lot of different things. And I want to talk about what the thought process is and how I've been successful working on things I had never worked on before. So anyhow, let's play some music through this and we'll call it good. All right, I've got this connected to amp and speakers, and then you can see when I turn it up, we have good signal. And if I turn the balance to the right, I've got the right only. Take my word for it. I know this is mono. That's left. And that's both. Okay, I'm going to check all the other inputs, but I suspect this is going to be fine now. That was the only problem. It's not unusual to find things like this. I was kind of sweating it because it's also not unusual to find defective controls, balance, volume. But we got lucky here, and it was a pretty simple fix. This looks like a fairly nice unit. I think it'll pair nicely with one of Steve's innumerable Soundcraftsmen power amps. So anyhow, as always, I thank everyone for watching, and I like giving back to the community that's given me so much. Oh, and I should get the parts in to finish up that Sansui AU919, and we'll move on to other things. Anyhow, take care, everyone. I was so confident that I had this thing completely fixed that I put it together before I checked the tuner and the phono inputs. And the tuner works fine, but the phono inputs do not. Both channels are completely dead. So it looks like the tuner inputs are all the way at the end here. And I believe this section is probably our tuner in. I'm going to make sure we have the correct voltages of the op amp here and take it from there. Smart person would have checked this before he put it all back together. But anyhow, let's see if we can figure this out now. I want to check the voltages of this op amp. It's the JRC 4558, very common. If you look here, you can see that our voltage is supposed to be plus or minus 18 volts. And we should be able to find that at pin 4 and pin 8. So let's take a look at the DMM as I probe those. I'm trying not to kick the camera, no promises. I got -4 at pin 4. And here at pin 8, I got 0.8 volts. So this is our problem. We need to figure out what happened to our voltages here, because obviously it's not going to work like this. All right, so I pulled the bottom off again, because once apparently wasn't enough. And it looks like our op amp may be the problem. I traced the positive and negative voltage inputs to these two resistors. You can see if you look closely that this one's a little burnt. And if you look at the line side of these, got 14.8 positive and -15. And if we look at the other side of the resistors, you can see we have -4 and 0.8. So it looks like we need to replace the op amp. I already stole the one out of my tube screamer, so I guess I'm going to have to order some of these, which really, really annoys me because I just pulled the trigger on a $200 parts order with Mouser this morning. I waited to see if I'd need anything else. I didn't think I would. So there you go. I'm going to have to wait until I get an op amp for this, but that seems to be the problem. This is a little discolored, but these should both be the same value. This one over here on the right is 220 ohms, so I'm going to replace this with a 220 ohm. I got my op amps in, and if you look here, let's count down. Let's see, this should be pin 4 here. I got -14 and pin 8 at +14. I replaced both of these resistors here, so we should be good to go. Let's put in some, I've got a reverse RIAA YouTube safe song that I've run through an attenuator, so it comes right out of the CD player. I attenuate it, and let's see here. Okay, now this thing's working, and now I can put the covers back on. So anyway, even though I said it before, I thank everyone for watching. I like giving back to the community that's given me so much. Thanks a lot, folks.